Let's talk about CGI in movies. Just because I feel like it. This video idea came off the top of my head. Nothing happened recently that triggered this video. I just want to talk about CGI for no reason. And you know what? I'll try not to mention Cats, because that movie has been just pummeled into the ground for the past week. And yeah, I don't need to make fun of it. Well, maybe a little. But CGI in movies.
Nice.
Different from movies that are completely made in computer graphics, like your Toy Story, your DreamWorks, your Shrek, your Disney 3D animations, because it's been like a decade since they made a 2D animation. But that's not what we're here to talk about. At least not today. Maybe later. Today, we're going to talk about some CGI in movies. What makes it good? What makes it bad? Presentation! Movies use CGI to, blend the line between fiction and reality. We use it in live-action movies to do things that we normally couldn't do, or at least it'd be hard to do it practically when, you have big purple men running around with gauntlets, little raptors running amok in a park, disgusting CGI creatures. Oh god. Oh.
Kajit as wares, if you have coin.
But when used well, CGI can create a nice flow in your narrative. You don't even realize that the purple man isn't real. You don't know that that's actually Josh Brolin. Before CGI was a big thing, people were, experimenting with their movies, seeing what they could do practically and get away with. You can see this in the first trilogy of Star Wars with the big space battles that were actually little toys on a backdrop that they made. Yoda was a puppet. Jim Henson made Yoda. And they had some weird-ass costumes because CGI wasn't great. They were just figuring out how to use green screens, in fact. Like Chewbacca, that's a guy. That's a guy in a costume. R2-D2, that's a guy. That's a guy in a costume. C-3PO, believe it or not, a guy in a costume. That's for the old ones, at least. And then, the future came, the prequels came. Got some fun characters there.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
He got!
Here's what I'm trying to get at. Technology advanced after the years went by. Therefore, movies also advanced in how they did things and how they made things look cool. The first big movie to come out that used a lot of CGI was Jurassic Park. And even then, it was 1993. Computers weren't really big. People were still trying to figure out how to get on the internet.
What's a web page? Something ducks lock on? Haha, very funny.
So they blended CGI with big-ass animatronic dinosaurs so that the world felt a little more believable. Alan Grant, he puts his big skull up to the sick Triceratops because it's a robot. He could do that. It was real. You could feel it. And then the Triceratops went, ah! And that was cool. Can't do that with CGI. It would look weird. Also, the big T-Rex in the rain. That was a robot. It broke the car windshield on accident. That was real terror. Those children in the car, you see them hold up the glass. That wasn't supposed to happen. They probably had nightmares about that for weeks. And the raptors that open the doors, they run around. Those were just dudes in costumes. They looked like this. Absolute bozos. And then, once again, technology advanced. All the dinosaurs became computer dinosaurs.
I just got a text message from Steven Spielberg. God, so annoying. Sorry, Steven. I'll have to get back to you later about Jurassic Park 4. Boom.
You look at Jurassic World, Chris Pratt, he's not even pointing at nothing in this scene. When he did this, it looked like this. But here's what I'm trying to get at. We fast forward a decade or two after Jurassic Park comes out. We hit the year 2009. Avatar, the blue men on the screen, the world around them, the funny plants and trees and rocks. They look phenomenal. I'll admit that. That movie looks pretty good. So now we're in the year 2019. CGI has basically become the mainstay for movies. You just use it now. Why on earth would you use practical effects? Sometimes they look weird. Sometimes they just kind of silly. And also, look at this. You can't do this. Not with practical effects. But yeah, CGI basically became an excuse for cartoon characters to come into the real world. Like you got your Detective Pikachu, most recently. It became the highest grossing video game movie of all time, and it was pretty good. I give it like a hard 7. Scooby-Doo 2. James Gunn made those movies. They were my favorite nightmares to watch as a child. You know, these movies exist. I wish they didn't, but they do. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. Bad CGI versus good CGI. Basically, CGI can be jarring sometimes. We use it a lot more than we realize now in movies. Just because it's become so easy. And the good outweighs the bad, in my opinion. But when CGI is bad, ooh boy. Does everybody notice? And they point and they laugh. Like, just one example. I was watching Infinity War for the first time. I was loving it. Nothing took me out of that movie. I was strapped in. I was glued to that screen. And then, you know, Bruce Banner comes out in the Hulkbuster armor. He opens up the visor, and then he says, "You guys are so screwed now!" And I looked at that scene, and I said, And that was the only part of the movie that I was taken out of, just because it looked weird. We can use CGI smartly, and it looks good. It doesn't interrupt the narrative, is what I'm trying to get at here. If we use CGI in a smart way, smarter than we are now, because look at these abominations. If we make sure CGI looks pretty, it looks believable, and it fits in with the world, then we can send it off to theaters and not barf with our eyes when we see it. Because, zooey mama. Sometimes you look at these things and you go, who gave the word? Who said this was okay?